My guest today is a certified holographic fertility coach with over 9 years of experience guiding women on their healing journeys, including hundreds of 6 and 7 figure business owners and coaches. She's certified in 16 different modalities across healing, wellness, mindset, and holistic health, allowing her to draw from a deep well of expertise to support each client in a truly tailored way. Before stepping into the world of spirituality and feminine embodiment, she was a professional athlete and personal trainer, widely recognized on the Gold Coast for her excellence in fitness. That journey eventually expanded to include epigenetics, mindset work, holographics, and womb wisdom. Today, she specializes in supporting women with womb healing, menstrual cycle embodiment, conscious conception, and pregnancy, and navigating fertility challenges through a holographic lens. In this episode, we talk about the transformative power of womb healing, the ways in which the divine asks us to surrender, and the lies women have been sold about their body, their periods, and the suppression of the wild woman. Enjoy the episode. Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome back to another episode of the Skin I'm In podcast. I'm your host, Chanel, and this is the space where real stories meet radical self-discovery. Here, you'll find peace through clarity, purpose through inspiration, and the permission to be your authentic self through the stories of men and women who've walked the path before us. If this show moves you, hit that like button, share it with someone you care about, or subscribe so you never miss an episode. That small but powerful act helps the show grow and brings in the guest you most want to hear from. In return, my promise to you is that I'll keep showing up with the raw, the real, and the conversations that crack us wide open, reminding us we're not alone. So, let's dive in and find the light in the shadows together. Welcome to the Skin I'm In podcast, Jacquie. It's so nice to have you on the show.
So nice to be here. Thank you.
I'm glad we finally made it happen.
Yes.
A lot's happened since we first connected. You had a baby. I've been extremely sick. So we're all in it.
We are. Yes.
Yeah. You have a really interesting story. And while I've spoken to people in the fertility space in the past, what I really appreciate about your journey is where you came from and what you're doing now. So you started off in the high performance world of athletics and personal training. You had all kinds of sponsors. What cracked you open on your journey into this spiritual healing and holographic fertility coaching space?
What cracked me open on like when I first expanded into spirituality, or like
Yeah. So, I mean, you would have had a moment where you're just like, I can't be doing this anymore. And what I want to be doing is this work. Or was that was it a progression? Because you've done a lot of training, like you've got like 16 modalities under your belt. So that's a lot. So how did you get here?
being an overachiever. Right? It's like this constant learning and growth. When you're an athlete, it's like the constant learning and growth about your muscles. And then I went into the mind, right? Went into the mindset space, and I got into meditation, and that was probably the first part of it. And then I moved into a lot of feminine embodiment work. So really relearning what it means to be a woman, like relearning menstrual cycles, like certifying myself in menstrual cycles and embracing that and embodying that. And then like somatics and just anything really. Just throwing myself into it for that growth and challenge.
I mean, to dive into that, there must have been a personal journey for you that you were really thinking about, because they're not subjects that people just want to know about for no reason. So what was going on in your life at the time?
So when I was a professional athlete, and at the height of my career, at the height of fame, had all these sponsorships, seeking so much external validation for this not good enough wound. And when a fellow fitness professional said to me, he's like, you actually don't understand how you can't see how lean you are and how depleted you are, and I want you to go and see this fertility like fertility doctor, right? And she took a lot of tests from me, and she 2 weeks later the test come back, and she rang me straight away and was like, you've got to come in. And I was like, okay, well, right, okay. And she basically sat me down and was like, if you continue to be the leanness that you are, you continue to be as depleted as you are, continue with these disordered eating and mental health, you won't be able to have a family. And that was like the biggest wake up call, because it was like, if you don't change what you're doing and how you're doing it, you may be stuck in this forever and not have the capacity to expand your family and have a family and have a partner and call in all those beautiful things. So that for me was the choice point where I had to choose, okay, I'm going to use the same amount of discipline, drive, and devotion that I had to my body and my health and my fitness. I was going to use the same things to get better, to recover from mental illness, and to recover from eating disorders, and to actually get myself and my body back into a place where I would be able to create a family.
So, to paint a picture for those who are listening, you used to basically professionally bodybuild, right? And when I think of the last 10 years, you see so many strong is the new skinny and all this like marketing that goes into this new aesthetic for women that is actually really masculine, and we need our body fat. And yet they're consistently telling us that we should get rid of that body fat. And selling us diets that work really well for men who are on 24-hour cycles instead of women who are, we're anywhere between 28 to, what is it? It's like 28 to 25-day cycles. So all of the things that are being sold to us are not actually good for a woman. And so you're at, what percent body fat were you at, and where are we meant to be?
So I was so depleted that I was 6% body fat for 7 months straight of 2019. And a normal, like if a normal fitness female is between 15 and 20%. So like any of that is normal, but I was like completely depleted. And really what I mentioned before was like, it was such an external validation, and the environment that I was in, the gym that I was working in, all of the gym goers, like all of the community that I had, just like kept feeding it back to me, like, oh, you look great, you're going on stage, like you said, it was like that. The body fat thing is such an obsession, and yeah, that led me to a place where it was just yeah. I was just really like, in woo woo land, we talk about it like, living through your higher self, because like I had no capacity for emotions, I had no capacity for like pleasure, I had no libido, like all these different things that I was just like walking, like I would wake up and be like, because when you start your spiritual journey, you're looking at the Work Your Light, Rebecca Campbell, and all the little the universe has your back, all the things. So my mantra was like, universe, give me the energy to burn all the calories I need to burn today. And like that's how I was living. I was like living through not me. And yeah, so that was that. Yeah. a huge part of that was just like continuing to be in an environment that just like fed that. It was just feeding that I can continue that way, because no one was saying it was wrong until that lady, the fertility doctor, that was like, hang on, you actually, this is not not good. You're not going to, like, your future depends on you getting better, really.
And so how did you start then? Because that would have been a massive mental shift for you to go from 6% body fat, universe, please help me lose all the calories I need today, to
Yeah.
universe, please let me put on weight and gain some fat and let me eat that bacon. Like, how did that happen?
Oh, bless. Even bacon. I recall anytime I'd eat bacon, I'd be like, I'd get paper towels or napkins and soak the oil off, right? It's like, because you can't track it if you don't know how much oil's on it, right? Anyway, um, the main thing for me was like, what little things can I do day by day? What choices can I make to be in a better position? And how can I use, like what I mentioned before, is like, how can I use the same qualities of being an athlete that I dedicated to my training? How can I dedicate that to getting better? Because the mindset of an athlete is elite, right? So it's like matching that with elite mindset the same way. It's like, how I've got to challenge myself in a different way. I'm going to challenge myself in a different way. So it was like going to a weekend retreat and taking my Fitbit off, or like the thing that was like measuring how many calories I was burning. And like, it was just little decisions. And then I would be okay. I'd get to the end of the week and I'd be like, I didn't die. I can keep doing, like, I can keep leaning into these edges. The fear that I had, that was such cloud on who I was, every time I challenged that just a little bit and showed myself that I was safe and I was okay, every opportunity that I got, I just lent into that more and more. So, yeah.
And I mean, I love that you say that, because I feel like people are disciplined in so many areas of their life until it comes to having to do something they don't really want to do, right? So, that weight loss piece is a big one. We all know how to do it, but we refuse to actually do it, even though we have discipline in other areas of life. And so I love that you say that, because I can literally take the commitment and discipline I have, for this podcast, let's say, and I could apply it anywhere. It doesn't mean that I don't have the discipline. I just don't want to apply the discipline. So, like, let's be straight. I love me a good burger and a pizza. So, and I say that so lovingly. I just noticed I'm doing this on my chest. For anyone that's listening and not watching, I'm like caressing my chest, thinking about pizza and burgers. That is so sick. Okay. Moving right along. So, of the 16 modalities of training that you did, right? I love that. Because much like you, I just love to immerse myself in things. What did you find most surprising? Was there any that you resisted? Did you come up against anything when you did some of those things? Because, like, again, you've done a lot of them, and they're in a lot of similar spaces, but they're not similar.
The one certification that really stood out for me, just in this particular transformation part of recovering from mental health and viewing my body differently, because obviously we're on the podcast, the skin I'm in, right? It's just so perfect to be talking about this. But the one thing was learning my epigenetic expression. And in that, actually getting the visual of what my gene expression looks like in a body, that I'm actually never supposed to have abs. And seeing that was, because I'm quite a visual learner as well, obviously, bodybuilder, very, very visual field. But seeing that, I realized that I was like fighting my biology so hard to have the thing that I'm actually not, like, I'll never be in homeostasis if I keep chasing the abs. And that was a huge piece.
How does one get tested for that? Like, is it a singular test? I've never heard of
Yeah.
this
So
before.
it I test people for it now because I'm qualified in it, and I've been doing it for six, five, 5 years now. Um, and it's like basically an hour, and we measure all kinds of bone structures across your entire body, and then through to a detailed health questionnaire, all the way through to things so your ancestors have suffered from, to give you a really clear picture of your gene expression and how it's come to be, and what you're at risk of potentially developing based on your hereditary genetics as well. So yeah, that was a one piece that really, if I didn't have that, or I didn't have that visual, that was a key thing that helped me to shift, really, before even like the mindset stuff is great, and like reframing and limiting beliefs and all the pieces there, and um coming to terms with the not good enough wound, and actually how do you transform that? Although all those pieces were beautiful, but it's like, if I didn't have that visual of how I chose in this lifetime the bodysuit that I've got for a reason, if I didn't have that visual, there would still be that part of me that's like, oh, I can still compete, or oh, I can still have abs, or like the narrative would still be there, because for what it is for so many women, it's like this body image, right? And on the other end of the spectrum, like my I don't know about you, but I see a lot of my connections on social media that think that they are overweight just because they have a bigger body fat mass, right? But actually, in epigenetics, they have exactly the bodysuit that they chose to be here in. And there's a genetic reason exactly why they have chosen that. And they're very quick to, I want a gastric bypass, I want to be different, because our society has no idea about, like, this way of thinking that, hey, we actually have these bodysuits for a reason, and our soul chose them, and they do look different. And I know, I remember in the fitness days, it was like, oh, that's just bullshit. Like, your genes, like, do you remember that as well? Like, um, yeah, your everyone can lose weight. Everyone can, like, it's just you eat well and you exercise more, and it's like, that's it. But actually not there. And even when I did start really dive deeply into epigenetics, it was like, I actually can't be a personal trainer anymore, because the the whole culture is based around a couple of specific, like, um there's six overall health types in epigenetics, and 360 degrees of different expression numbers, and then there's lots of other layers of science in it, but I won't go into I won't go too much into detail. But the yeah, that whole fitness industry is like completely blind to that. It's like, no, everyone can have abs, everyone can do this, everyone can be skinny. So it continues to feed that narrative. So when bigger bigger body fat mass people, uh, you know, invest in these surgeries to, like, constrict their stomach and constrict who they are, and I'm going to be so happy if I don't have the weight. And it's like, but they're not seeing what the gift is in the body that they've chosen. Yeah, so that was a bit of a tangent, but it's still still in body image, still in that realm.
So relevant, because I honestly, I'm sitting here and I'm like, there is so much to unpack in that, because I think to myself, when I do see people who are extremely overweight, it's not about their weight. It's about their perception of their life, of themselves, and the mental illness, whatever it is someone is dealing with, that got them there. So instead of looking at that,
Yeah.
they're Ozempicing their way out
Oh,
of
yeah.
it. They're cutting parts of their stomach out. Can I just I don't think people understand. Our
Mm,
stomach has a whole function, and then you're either cutting or banding part of a whole organ, and it
mm,
therefore cannot function as a whole organ anymore. Just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy. Your gut microbiome is in the
yep.
toilet. People
Yes.
just don't understand it. Like, I'm getting goosies in anger, like, because
Yes.
when I hear people doing this, I'm like,
Yeah.
your sense of self is so
Mm,
low that you think that you will become a better person and people will like you more, or that you will be accepted. And granted, society has made us all feel a little like, if you're a certain way, you're not part of, the tribe or the
mm,
community. But your sense of self, if it's strong, then
mm,
you start to nourish yourself instead of feeding yourself crap.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
start to ask questions about, what's this injection got in it? What chemical has this food been processed with? Like, all of the questions where you suddenly have a light bulb moment and like, hang on a second, why
Mm,
do I not ask questions here? And the other thing that you had mentioned about, the training, we spoke offline about this when we
mm,
first caught up, and I had got into that bodybuilding physique world because I wanted to see what was possible in
mm,
changing my body shape. I'd always been curvaceous from a very young age, and I was made to feel really ashamed by that. And so I
mm,
got into it to see how much I could change, and I did lean out a lot. Um, but I was very sick. I was covered in cold sores, and
mm,
God, the divine, the universe was like, this is not the path for you. And I had a hectic injury on my knee that
mm,
stopped me from being able to lift ever again. I would be able to deadlift and squat over 100 kilos until I did my knee, trying to prove a
mm,
point to a guy who said, girls can't lift. You would not
mm,
be able to squat 100 kilos. No way. And I was like, watch me. And I did. And I completely buggered up my knee. Thank you for that,
yeah.
God and everyone else on my side, because I don't know where I would have been. My skin
Mm,
was literally giving out. And I remember you and I talking about this last time.
yeah.
That was the expression
Mm,
for my body. And
mm,
you had your own expression. Everyone has a different expression as to the way that your body communicates to you. I still now, whenever I'm really unwell, my skin gives out. So whether it's
mm,
psoriasis, eczema, cold sores, that is my sign that I am depleted. And
mm,
so if people understood their own signs, they'd be able to read their own body as to what's
mm.
going on in their lives.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, um, that you say that, because when I was so low in body fat percentage, my body wasn't giving me signals. It didn't actually have any capacity to give me signals. So I would have loved to have like signs like that, right? But because my emotions were gone, like I was living completely on caffeine, like I was like a robot in a sense. Like, where is the humanness? I couldn't access that. So my body having to produce like a skin condition or something like that, that would take too much energy. Like, it does that make sense?
It does, and it's so depressing that,
It
that's
is.
the state that your
Yeah.
body had gotten to. Like, because I
Yep.
still am trying to imagine someone with 6% body fat and just muscle and bone as a woman,
Yep.
especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I don't do things by halves.
No, says the woman who's done 16 different healing modalities. Yeah, nothing by halves,
Sign
dude.
me up.
Yeah, the next thing. I mean, look, and now you've got 2 kids, right? You've just
Yes.
had another one.
Yes.
And so now that you have literally completely changed what your diagnosis was through
Yeah.
eating better and taking care of yourself,
Yeah.
what have you learned about the female body and about motherhood and what's possible?
Mm. The connection to the womb. I think like society and all of it is like you said before, it's like it's so masculine. There is that we're not taught this in school. We're not taught about menstrual cycles. We're not taught about the womb space. We're not taught about the creative power of our womb, whether we're creating life or we're creating businesses or multiple cash figure months or whatever it is. That that womb, and actually having reverence for that, sitting in womb healing, like doing that nothingness work, right? It's like that, the void. What is the void? That is how we reconnect to being a female. And that was definitely that hopefully that answers your question. And motherhood, yes. I mean, yes, because yes, creating life is all in your womb as well, and the capacity to create multiple lives as well. It's like at the moment, dealing with the expansion of the family, it's like it's showing me how much more I can hold, even like in I've done that in the business world. I've done that in, the fitness world. I've achieved that there, but now it's in a different way. But it's still just showing me, life is still just showing me how I'm expanding and how I'm receiving more in, and having reverence for that space in my body as well. Yeah.
So, for someone who is new to the idea of womb healing, I feel like most of my listeners would be right on this, but who knows who's stepping into this wonderful space because they've been called to. But, for women hearing womb healing for the first time, what does it actually involve, and why is it such an important part of a woman's transformation?
Mm. Well, specifically with women, our womb space holds so much, and that we're not aware of. Past partners, you can probably hear the newborn weird noises as well. So,
So cute. I'm like, you talk, baby. You talk. You get in on this conversation.
um, and that the healing of the womb is the healing of the past partners, past trauma, in a meditative way, right? So it's usually in a like a guided way, right? So you're guided into your womb space, and you're clearing and you're cleansing and you're releasing and renewing. So that would be the main thing, is like, not only are we connecting in with our womb space in womb healing, but we're also mindful of what we're healing. It's like, what is coming up for you in that space, and it's infinite, right? So everybody experiences something different when they go through womb healing, but it's such a potent place because you can receive so much just from clearing and cleansing and letting go of what doesn't serve anymore, and being in that reverence of that space in your body as a woman is just so potent.
It's adorable. I'm like, that is newborn baby love and sounds. It's very cute.
It's not great when in the middle of the night, but that's
I can imagine. She's very
the
cute.
first few nights I was like, I don't know if I can this noise. I need to get used to this noise again.
There is something so beautiful about the little sounds that they make and their little giggles. And I never appreciated that as, in my 20s or early 30s. I didn't actually want children, funnily enough, for many, many years after my sister had my first niece. It just looked horrific to me. And I'm like, I am not signing up for that ever in my life. Like, no thanks. But also, society played a big part in that too. I thought, I have so much freedom and my sister doesn't. And now the way I look at motherhood and the capacity women have to create and birth little humans. We're the portal of souls into this world, but we also have the ability to birth incredible ideas for businesses. And so I I never really thought of motherhood in that way, or the
Mm.
creative space that our womb really represents. So
Mm.
when you think of the women that are coming to, like, who are the women that are coming to you? Because you work with, hundreds of 6 and 7 figure business women, what are their struggles? What are they coming to you for mainly?
How they can expand to have it all, right? The main thing is like, how can we have our cake and eat it too? How can we still keep running our businesses? How can we still keep going forward with uh, our passions and our desires? The the problem and the limitation and the limiting belief is like, if I have children, I'll lose, like you said, freedom, right? It's like freedom to have a business, or freedom to work long hours, and or free, like it's just different. But the thing is, the mentoring in that space is like, what, how can you receive more support in that? So it's like, at the moment where we're looking at, a nanny and things like that, to even create more space for us to continue to be in our passions and our business, because we also run transformational events as well. So um and I'm really excited to actually be bringing my second son into this space, because when my first son was this little as well, I was bringing him to the events, and he was part of it. And I think there's a huge part in that as well. It's like, they see us putting ourselves first, and what does that create for them? So yeah, that's the motherhood piece, is like, how can you receive more support and expand in that way? But prior to having the children, it's like, how can I create life if I've been on all cylinders, and I didn't have this as my vision? I didn't have, like, it, does that make sense? So the women that are coming are aware that they desire this. If they, get to the end of the day and they sit down and they finally rest, which is hard for high performing women, is they sit down and they go, wow, I really actually yearn for a family. And I really, how can I be more in alignment? And for me, helping them, it's like noticing the little areas and the little places where they can be realigning themselves, where they can take less off their plate, where they can heal their womb more, where they can let go of past traumas and create the space for life to show up in their womb. Do you know what I mean? So there's like such a, what I talk about is, it's conscious conception, right? This consciousness of how you're creating the life and how you're expanding to receive the life. And there's also lots about letting go of attachment, and that's a hard thing for high performing women, because the to-do list and the achievements that they've already achieved, it's like, how can I do my way to this? But that's not actually how it happens.
Done.
No, how can I do my way to this? It doesn't work that way. So it's like that, holding that hand of like, of knowing that I felt that too, and going, okay, I can see where you are, and it's what do we get to shift today that's going to get you closer and more in alignment, and actually feeling at peace and worthy no matter what happens.
Do you want to age backwards, get better sleep, improve your memory, boost your immune function, and improve your circulation? Then the healing properties of red light therapy is your answer. When I noticed my skin, energy, and mood lacking luster, I spent countless hours researching the best solutions that would help me get my health back on track, and that's when I found EMR Tech. This science-backed, non-invasive treatment uses red and near-infrared light to activate your body's natural healing processes, supporting your body in boosting circulation, reducing inflammation, and assisting in the production of collagen. The results? Wow. Smoother skin, better sleep, less pain in the joints, more energy, and a serious glow up from the inside out. It's a powerful year-round solution that helps reset the negative effects of spending too much time indoors, on screens, and not getting enough sleep. I'm obsessed with my FireWave Pro panel, and it has become my go-to for deep cellular level healing. I just pop it on for 20 minutes every night before bed to wind down, reset, and recharge. It has made a world of difference to the quality of sleep I get each night and how my face shows up in the morning. To get yourself a glow up, head on over to www.emr-tech, that's tek.com/theskinI'min and use code theskinI'min for 30% off every order. I've popped the link and code in the show notes to make your life that little bit easier. Alrighty, let's get back to the show, folks. Yeah, that's massive, because I think one of the things that I've come to learn, and even in just what you're saying, is that whole doing piece is such a masculine component of ourselves, but that is also the reason why so many of us succeed in the things that we put our mind to. And so I've fallen in love with that masculine energy. And sometimes you just need to put it in the storage room and be like, no, I'm going to surrender and receive today, my friends. Like, because I think that's and even when you were saying about the attachment, I got goosies all over my arms. I'm like, letting go, delegating. Again, I'm scratching my chest because this is obviously soothing for me. Because that piece is massive. And I think I had mentioned this last time. I miscarried in October, and I just remember feeling really happy and elated that I fell pregnant straight away. And at 10 weeks, I miscarried. But I had nothing left in the tank for myself, let alone to create life. And I had just done 3 months of intensive Chinese medicine and acupuncture. So I can't even imagine what it would have been like before. There's no way I would have fallen pregnant before those 3 months, let alone. So I was like, oh my God, it's worked. It's magic. And I've had amazing womb connections and things. And I physically felt it in the conversation with the doctor of Chinese medicine. We had the most beautiful conversation, didn't do acupuncture that day, but we talked about it, and I just sobbed. And I felt different about my womb after that conversation. But it really made me realize just how much I've operated at a level that I cannot sustain. And I think it's changed me as a woman profoundly. And everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry you've miscarried. I'm like, no. Like, this was such a gift to me, because I, for once, was able to be like, oh my God, I need rest. What the hell does that look like? What do you mean I need to not do something and feel like not guilty about it? That's so not productive. So it really made me slow down, and I was like, holy crap, I have no idea what it is to rest. None. And so while it was sad for me in the moment, I'm so grateful, because I was given such a gift through that process of being like, I realized, yes, I 100% want to be a mother for sure. And I cannot possibly bring life into this world the way that I'm operating. Like, my body is not capable of sustaining that and me for 9 months. So I'm like, lesson learned, divine. Thank you. Didn't need 2 months of bleeding to death, but whatever, we got there in the end. So yeah, it's, I wish not that I would change anything in my life. Obviously, we all get to this place because that's what we're meant to, and that's our soul's journey. But had I known how important my cycles actually are, had I known what that bleeding meant, had I known what that creates in my body and in terms of life, I would have had such a different perspective, and I wouldn't have abandoned my womb as early as I did. Like, in my teens, I was just like, this sucks. I got my period at 11. I was like, this is horrible. And I was made to believe that it's horrible. And so that disconnect to the womb started very early on for me. And I anticipate a lot of people too. Like, you're nodding furiously. So I'm like, yes, it's so real for all of us. And sometimes I wonder, what would have been different in our society had this been the kind of education that we were given?
Yeah, it's so interesting that you say that, because I actually get asked this so much, because I run a lot of menstrual cycle embodiment work. I believe that yes, the education could change, but I believe it's the embodiment of the parents, right? It's like, I know that even my son now is like 3, and he's seen me in blood rituals. He's seen me like we call them paddy pads, and like he's just, there's just no shame. There is no shame. My embodiment is speaking louder than any education that he could possibly have, because even if we change the way that the education was ran, and children went home to their parents and their parents shamed them, then we're all gone backwards. There's no, like, yes, we can change it, but it starts with the embodiment of the parents, and it starts with the embodiment of yourself, really. Like, how are you creating that for the next generation, that they have no shame? So even if it's someone's shamed at school or whatever it is, they know in their self that it's actually nothing to be ashamed about. Like, but it's interesting because a lot of the women I work with, it's like we unpack this. It's like there is so much shame in it from that time we first get our periods, and the schooling time and all the pieces. There's so much shame. There's so many labels, like I'm just PMSing and all the things. And that's another tangent. And I'm just going to medicate myself for that. Oh dear. But yeah, there's so many labels and shame, and generally speaking, a lot of it is instigated by men or young boys, right? It's a lot of it is instigated by that. And when we actually trace back menstrual blood, that's actually one of the first scents that they ever have in their life, because it's menstrual blood is creating the placenta, it's creating all of the birth product, right? So when they're born, that's like one of the first things they smell is that blood, that menstrual blood. So when they're shaming, when they're older, it's like there may be some birth trauma that they need to unpack that is signaling to them that menstrual blood is wrong, or there's something happened with menstrual blood that's freaking them out, or like period sex or something like that, where they're repulsed. It's like, why? What's the root cause of that? What happened at your birth? Or what, like, let's go real back, because that's been created from something else that you are now creating shame to protect yourself. And yeah.
Oh my God, I have so many questions in that. I hadn't thought about that. Oh my God, my brain's like, hang on, whoa, just give me a minute to absorb, girlfriend. Okay, so my whole life, I've just thought that, because no one ever spoke to me about it, I just got my period and I only knew what it was because my older sister had gotten hers and I was in the bathroom with her when she got it. And so she kind of spoke to me about it. But it was, I thought, oh no, my life's over, right? At 11, I was like, oh my God, my life's over. And from then on, I was just like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. One of the girls in primary school, the only other girl who had her period, got it all over her dress. And it wasn't even the boys making fun of her. It was the girls making fun of her.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I would be mortified if that happened to me. And so I didn't tell anyone that I also had mine already. And so now I'm like, well, what happened when I was coming through the birth canal? I'm like, I just hate the smell. Like the blood, I don't like blood smell anywhere. Like if on my hand, or like if one of my dogs, I hate the smell of blood. I hate it. So what is that?
Yeah, there could be something there. There could definitely be something in there with how you came into the world. There could definitely be something there.
How would I find out? Is this the holographic stuff, or this is not the holographic stuff?
No,
okay.
No. Holographics is a different process that is like it it's a process where we work on like a parent or a partner or something like that. We work on a person and a trait. So it's different to the menstrual cycle stuff we're talking about unpacking, but that's this is why like there's 16 modalities, right? Because there's just so many different things. Because like when you say, okay, there's something about blood that's triggering me, and even in that I'm like, oh, okay, well, that also links to how you're able to sustain the life as well. So that was like, that played out for me there when I heard you say that. I was like, okay, well, there's links there in your reality. But I'm not coaching you.
I'm like, this is so funny. I'm like, now I have so many questions for myself. I'm like, is it because I manifested it? Because I used to have this thing with pregnant bellies. And so like I was always repulsed by a pregnant belly. I hate when the belly button comes out. And like, I'm like, I don't want one of those. Oh my God, what if my belly button turns into an Audi? And so I've always struggled with a pregnant belly. But interestingly, after my miscarriage, a lot changed. And I recently went to a family constellations weekend, and there was a woman there that's quite heavily pregnant. She's 6 months, but she's quite big. She'll be listening to this because I know she's a fan of the show. So I actually said to her, please do not get offended by what I'm about to say. But I normally am repulsed by pregnant bellies. But your belly is so beautiful. And I had a moment when we were all sitting down because, everyone's sitting in a circle, and
Yes.
she has been shifting from the chair to the floor. And in that, her T-shirt had come up and exposed her belly at her belly button. And I felt an overwhelming sense of love for her belly. And I thought it was just so weird that I had to tell this complete stranger how beautiful the energy of her belly is. And I know that she's not had any scans. She's got no idea what she's having. And I just think that's so amazing. But I just was like, I don't know what it is about your belly, but I feel so warmed by it. And I just wanted you to know that. And then a few nights ago, I had a dream. All the dream was, Jacquie, was there was a pregnant woman in front of me. I sensed that I knew this woman. I don't remember her face, but I sensed I knew her. Well, I'm getting emotional. Ooh. I knelt down in front of her and I held her belly with my hands like this, and I put my forehead on her belly. And that's all I remember. And I was like, oh my God, like, is this like a coming home? Like, I don't know what this is. But I woke up in just such love for this image that I had in my sleep. I'm like, what is happening to me?
Yes.
I'm like, you keep fist pumping over there. What is that?
Well, it's you've recoded your DNA by having a life. That's recoding your DNA, and that's why you're reacting in that way, because how they're showing up is like, oh, I am capable of this. I am this. So I love that. Love that. I'm like, oh, that's probably your higher self.
Oh, you know what? Higher self has been coming in and dropping bombs all over my life the last couple of months. I tell you what, I mean, I asked for it, and anyone who knows me and listens to this podcast, anyone in my life knows how committed, like unshakable commitment to healing work, right? And I'm here to take all the traumas that I keep peeling. Like, I'm doing this. Yes. I'm like, I'm up for 20 modalities. Like, I just want to do whatever I can energetically, spiritually, emotionally, to be able to be in this skin. And, often people ask me, why did you call it the skin I'm in? And I thought, I just felt called to, because I feel like, especially as women, we are so much more than the skin we're in. And we spend our whole lives being taught that the only thing that matters is the skin that we're in. And I'm like, that is not where our power is. Fuck that. There is so much more to women. Once you start reconnecting with that womb space, I swear to God, everything outside of you, you kind of develop this. This has been my experience. I would love to know yours. it's like I had this shield just
Mm.
appear around me. And I was just like, oh no, you cannot shake down my womanhood now. Like there is, I used to doubt it. And I know that you thrived off me doubting that. And
Mm.
that is not happening anymore.
Mm.
So did you experience something similar?
Uh, yeah, definitely. But I think it was even before that. It was like with the epigenetics. Really, is like being comfortable in the skin I'm in before like diving into that womb space. But like I said before, it's like this. The womb is this infinite place that so much potentiality is there that it's yeah, that connection to it is something to reclaim. It's something that we don't get taught about. We don't find out about. And it's literally a reclamation. It's like what what is this place? Why have I never been told about this? Why is this not? And I'm, really, really proud that that embodiment can now pass to the next generation, because it's like, well, I'm embodied in, like, I'm so much more in that womb space. And yes, there's absolutely times where I can be really in my head, and I can be really high achiever, and I can be like, do all these learning and growth and all these things. But there's also that, like you were saying, that unshakable connection to your inner power that lies in your womb space, which it provides a conviction like no other. Like you, you can't fake it. If you are connected and you're embodied in that space, there is nothing that you can be in your head, but you can also return back. And once you have that reference point, it's like you just keep going back and forward and back and forward. What does my body want? What does my head like? And I know it's not, it's not the space all the time to be talking about the birth story, but that my recent birth story, but it was like an 8-day portal of facing fears and projections, like how much can I trust my womb, how much can I trust birth, how much, like it was just such a um that conviction, that connection is, yeah, that connection creates a conviction that is infinite.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm gonna
we got
say
it
it
out.
all in one word.
I mean, when I messaged you, when we connected last time about the recording, and you had said to me that your water had broken, but the baby hadn't started its process yet, I was just like, oh my God, I didn't know that that even happened. So, how many days had you had a broken water and no baby?
8.
Jesus. No
Yeah.
wonder you're doubting the look at me. I'm like kinesiologying my chest right now. But of course you're doubting the process. Like I would be like, what is happening? What's the stall? Like,
Well, that's the thing. Like, um, I do hard things, right? I do.
I mean, why would it have been easy?
I fucking call this in. I call this in. Um, I'm a high achiever. I'm high performing. Give me what you've got. um, but like the people that I've spoken to that I trust about it, they're like, no one actually waits that long. No one will wait, like very rarely, because midwives, society said that, 4 days is it. Like like all these fears and projections come in after that time, because it's like that it's too much. It's too long. Like there's something wrong. But actually there was nothing wrong. And every time I checked in with my body, it was like, nope, I'm staying at home. I'm having a home birth. I'm not subscribing to the projections that are coming at me. Like, go to the hospital, like be cut open. Why are you waiting? Like because I'm like, no, I actually know myself so much, and I trust my body, and I trust birth so much. And obviously trusting birth is trusting your womb, right? Because it's the womb that creates the contractions that bring the soul into the existence on earth. Yeah, so it's like how convicted can I be in my connection to my womb? And that's what links to what we were talking about before, because it's just like even yeah, how can be how connected and convicted are you in your connection?
Just in life everywhere though.
Yep,
But like
absolutely.
I'm in awe of your commitment to that. Like most people would have had a panic attack, but I'm like, if I know Jackie so far, no one was telling you to go to the hospital except the divine. Unless you got a download, you
Yeah.
weren't going anywhere.
Yes.
So how did you sit
Yes.
in that? And how
Yeah,
did you not panic?
trust.
But how do you get there, Jackie? Is what I'm
Kind
trying
of
to say, girlfriend. Like, how do
well,
you
lots of
get to trusting?
emotions, right? It's like lots of emotions. Um, yeah, it was just so like like you said, if I had a download that something was wrong, I would act on it. And I didn't get any signs of infection. I didn't get any signs of ill health myself. I was continuing to get on with my day, even though I had like a towel around me and like it was not a good sight. But like I could still get on with my life. It was not like um, it was not like a extreme circumstance where I was in like really like horrible pain or something. Like there was nothing. Like I could continue with my day, and so I was just like, I'm just going to keep going with this. Like, like each day, how much more do I trust? Like, I mean, yes, of course, there was moments where I was like, I just like I'm just gonna give up and go there and just get it cut out and but I couldn't like because it wasn't true. It was like, no, what's true for me in my body? And that was just to stay at home and be at home and birth at home. So I did that.
How did your midwife react to that? Was she panicking?
I didn't have a midwife.
Did you free birth?
Yeah.
Tell me
With
all
the
about it.
well, with the birth keeper. So I had a birth keeper there. And I didn't want to have a midwife at any point, but I it's divine because had I had a midwife, they would have said, "This is too long. I can't be part of this anymore. If you're not going to go to the hospital, I can't be responsible for this." Which is all well and good because that's in their framework. They need to abide by certain things to be enrolled in the system of care that they're in. Um, yeah, it's just I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And I'm like, well, I mean, I've done other things like stay at 6% body fat for 7 months. Like, I do
I
hard
feel like I'm
things.
asking the wrong person. Like you are like ultra committed. You're like an ultra marathon runner. You know those secret ones that they do around the world and people pretty much fall apart at the end of it? Yeah, you're that person in this space.
Yeah.
I love that. I didn't even know that there were like birth keepers. That sounds so mystical, but that was probably just so normal back in the days. And yet we've forgotten all this ancient wisdom. And I think that's the thing that really, really gets to me the most. And I don't even mean that in a negative way. It's the how can we reclaim that when every part of the system has for centuries, thousands of years, been doing everything they can to dismantle that
Mm.
wisdom.
Well, it's the same with this is the same with menstrual cycles and all the shame that happens there. It's the same thing. It's like how can we control the uncontrollable? Right? Birth
Oh, there's
is
so much in that.
yeah, birth is not controllable. And yes, there's absolutely circumstances where medical intervention is completely necessary, and I get that. Um, yeah, but it's like trust in birth, trust in like that. Yeah, I mean, you're asking the wrong person because I'm not really associated with this system as much, but I respect it, and I work with it, and there are women that come to me that are doing IVF already, or they're engaged in medical intervention. And I still support them, because the same shit comes up whether you're doing it natural or you're doing it like with medical assistance. It's like the same things still come up. It's like the same things of doing too much, it's not sticking, or it's not working, or like it's the same. A lot of the same stuff comes up. So it's like but it's how can you, and it's the same with conception, right? It's like how can you can't control the uncontrollable as much as a high performing person wants to control the uncontrollable. But like conception, pregnancy, birth, they're all uncontrollable. Like you don't know what you've chosen to experience, and you don't also know what the soul has chosen to experience. So and I really honor you for the way that you've seen your pregnancy loss as such a gift, because it is such a gift to know that your body is capable. Your body is capable of holding that. And you're also able to see the gift in having more time, having more space, having more rest. Like let's prepare myself more for when it actually happens. Like, am I prepared? I talk a lot about this, is like, if you were to be pregnant tomorrow, what would have to shift in your business? What would have to shift in your life? What would have to shift in your relationships? What would have to shift in your boundaries? That if you were pregnant and you were completely bedridden for 9 months, what would happen to the rest of your life? Do you have people that will come and visit you? Do you like what does your life look like? Can it support this? What wants to happen? And that's I just honor you so much in your journey of coming to that realization that it's such a gift. And the same, and what I also like to talk about is like when you're trying to conceive, or when you're I don't like the term trying because it's disempowering, but when you're yearning to conceive and you're actively in the process of conceiving, every cycle is actually a loss, right? Every menstrual cycle, because it's a shedding, it's a letting go. It didn't stick, right? Every like that, and that's how I normalize it with conscious conception as well. It's like acknowledging that, of course, like 10 weeks is different to 5 weeks, but still 5 weeks and 10 weeks is still a loss. So does that make sense? It's like honoring that every cycle is a gift, every loss is a gift that we can go back on and go, what needs to shift in order for this to actually work?
Never thought about that. And I think that that's so beautiful. Like every period is a loss. I never like that was a chance at life that didn't happen. I never ever thought of it that way. It makes me sad, but it also makes me so proud of being the bearer of that.
Yes.
I think one of the things that came to me, when I did miscarry, and I thankfully, the lady who was doing my ultrasound, of which I was not planning on having an ultrasound, by the way. So it would have been shock a week later.
Oh, yeah, hippie.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm not going. And then the doctor's like, listen, I understand, but just go. And I was just like, fine. And if it wasn't for that, and if it wasn't for the woman going, oh, I can't see what I'm meant to see, and me having a moment with myself, I wouldn't have been able to grieve. I spent a week grieving. And then on like the Tuesday morning at 3 a.m., well, I sat in it. And I remember thinking to myself, I was doing yoga, and I asked my guides, I asked the divine, because I started sobbing, and I was just like, what is this here to teach me? And I heard, we just want to know how badly you want it.
Oof, oof.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yes.
Clicking, right? I was just like,
if the guides
shit.
would say it, I would probably say it.
And so I was just like, oh, Okay, well, let me sit with that. And then I miscarried. It started like 3 a.m. and it was what I would assume is like contractions that just never went away until like 4 o'clock the following afternoon. And, uh, but what I recall coming up for me, and even as we were talking about it before, it honestly was like, and I've been talking about Kali energy for quite a few episodes now, but it was like a burning of everything that I knew to be true. Everything just went up in flames. So every single time I think about that moment, I literally see myself standing in a field of fire. Everything around me like is being burnt down because all my belief systems were confronted and challenged. Everything I knew about myself, everything I felt about womanhood. I'm like, I've had this podcast now for a year. I've, been questioning what is a woman for a really long time. Like, what does it mean to be a woman? What am I proud of? What do I even love about this life of being a woman? Like, it sucks. Everyone keeps telling me it sucks the older I get, but I feel really good. So am I doing it wrong? Like, am I doing it wrong? I'm 41 this year and I feel like I'm doing it wrong because I'm not miserable. But I just kept being like, it was like a ceremonial burning of everything that I knew. And it completely changed the way I looked at my life. And so many things have happened since then that I've literally had to start over in so many ways. I'm going through that right now, in fact, in my life, where I'm like, it's another starting over. But I really, really, really believe that we are constantly called to whatever it is that needs to take us to that next level of learning. So when you tell me that you're sitting there with a broken water for 8 days, you are manifesting something that I know you're going to help your clients with in the future.
Yeah.
It's like an incubation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Are
So
there
much.
any fertility myths that you are tired of hearing? Hey folks, quick gut check. Are you actually nourishing your insides or just surviving on lattes and get through the week vibes? I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. There is a way to boost your energy, cleanse your system, and kick that bloat to the curb. Enter Supercharged Food, a proud supporter of this show and a beautiful heart-led business founded by a clinical nutritionist who believes that real healing starts in the gut. They offer powerful nutritionist-developed supplements like Fulvicumic drops, collagen-boosting bundles, and their best-selling Love Your Gut Symbiotic, packed with prebiotics, probiotics, and digestive enzymes your microbiome will love. Plus, their books and recipes will change the way you look at health from the inside out. Hit the link in the show notes and use the code TheSkinI'mIn to get 10% off every order. Alrighty, let's get back to the show.
The thing I'm tired of most in the fertility space is the people that are constantly asking for supplement advice, like external to them, because I do believe that a lot of it is inner work. We look inside first. We look at the hologram first. We look at the holographic reality. So spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, all the different areas, asking questions that the doctors don't ask. That before any external supplements. Yes, you can take things and yes, you can take XYZ, but it's only going to be a band-aid, right? It's only going to be a band-aid solution to make you feel better about what's actually going on. Like what if your partner is like, this is something that's come up a few times for our clients in the holographics, is like, if the man's dad was avoidant and that's still being projected in his reality, he's going to avoid having children because he doesn't want to fuck up like his dad. So it's stuff like that we are totally unconscious to, not only in the woman but also in the man. It's like there's such an emphasis and a burden on women in the fertility space that it's all on them, but actually it could be something unconsciously playing out from the partner side that's completely blocking everything. Everything looks normal, all the tests are great, blah blah blah, but it's like, well, what actually is happening for your partner? Is he disconnected to that child, or like does he truly want this? Like, does he yearn for this? Like, what's his relationship to his inner work? Like, where, like, do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of questions internally in your own, like in your own reality of what is happening there, before we look to anything that's going to band-aid or supplement, because that's what it is, right? It's supplementing your own self. So that's the thing that peeves me the most, because I'm part of like a lot of like Facebook groups and stuff, and every day there's, I would say there'd be hundreds across all the groups. There's like, what supplement do I take? I want to get pregnant this cycle. I want, like, no, that's not the question. The question is behind the question. And like, I'll comment once and then I'll just shut off Facebook, because I'm like, I don't want to see any of this stuff. But it's like, I'll comment, I'll be like, inner work first. And like, I mean, most people don't get that, but that's what women come to me for, is like that, the questioning behind the questioning. What's underneath that? What's your partner going? Like, what else is happening in reality? What's your relationship like to your mom? Like, all those different dynamics that could actually be influencing your soul's decision to create life. And even if like you're you don't want to be like your mom, or you like, there's some like, that can also be a thing too, because it's like, well, you're not seeing that your mom did exactly what she, like, do you know what I mean? You're not seeing the gift your mom is in your life, that you don't want to fuck it up like your mom did, or whatever it is. But that's unconsciously why blocking things from happening. And I know even in my conscious conception journey with my firstborn, because obviously I was rewriting what it meant to be a female after being an athlete and all the things. So it took a long time. And even in that time, it's like there was some shifts for my partner that he had to make as well, to be ready for fatherhood, like actually be committed to that. And so there's lots of things that are happening in all areas of life that could be impacting. And that's the thing I pet peeve the most, is like the people think that a band-aid solution is going to solve it all. Nope. Not if there's unconscious stuff at play.
I love
Yeah.
that you bring that up too, because I feel like I kept getting pushed with the prenatal, postnatal stuff. And even though I was on Orthoplex, I'm like, I don't even know why. Like, but okay. And everyone, and I only go see like natural therapy people, Chinese medicine, naturopath, like, and it's everywhere. But I'm like, something about this does not feel right. And even during, my the miscarriage, I kept being called by the hospital. They're trying to get to book me in for a D&C. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. My body knows what to do. I'm not doing it. Oh my God, but you could get an infection. I'm like, but I'm
Yes.
fine. Like, I feel fine. Can't you test if I have an infection? They're like, yes, but. And I'm like, so just test it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel fine. I have no symptoms. It's going
Yeah.
to pass. My body
Yes.
knows what to do. But
Yeah.
even in that, when you're talking about that conscious conception piece about your husband, I love that you brought him into that with you. So
Yes.
how did that impact your marriage? Because, a lot of men are just like, this has got nothing to do with me. What do you want me to do this woo-woo? Like, did your husband go, well, I mean, I feel like he knows you.
Well, actually, so we're not married just yet. We're engaged finally, anyway, that's another story for another day. But actually, it was very early on that like a month into our relationship, that I was like, I'm going to have kids with you. And he was like, I know. And then we're just
Wow.
like, okay, like, all right, well, we'll just like let this happen. And I came, I had the marina taken out. I had that all the time that I was competing as well, because that's the least amount of hormones that you can have in your body, and blah blah blah. And that's what you need to do to be lean. Have the least amount of hormones affecting you. Not that it probably would have worked anyway because I was so lean, but yeah, like he is so committed to growth as well. Like that he was actually the person that introduced me to epigenetics, right? He was the one that gave me the slight breadcrumbs, and he saw me from the professional bodybuilder, because he'd also done bodybuilding, not as extreme as me. So he'd come from that, and he just like stood by my side through all of that relearning to be a female, and like reclaiming all of those parts of me. So his commitment to me there, and then him choosing that he wanted fatherhood as well. So that was just a organic journey, really. It was like, what's the next level for growth? What are we choosing next? And like, yeah, that's basically how it went. It was, yeah, the downloads, right?
I'm like, what a
I was like,
man to
sorry,
lead.
I was so embarrassed to tell him. I'm like, oh, I was in the sound healing, and it said I'm gonna have children with you, and like I was so afraid to tell him, but he was like, oh, I already know. And I was like, why did you not tell me?
I know, right? It's that whole thing of who says it first. But I just think that it's so rare to come across a man who's so willing to lead, who feels safe in his vulnerability, to be able to say that to you and to be able to go on that journey with you as well. Like,
Mm.
kudos, well done. Like,
Yeah.
well done indeed. Does he want to start a men's group? Because I know lots of girls, a lot of my girlfriends that could use a men's group that has, healing men in it.
Yeah. And I mean, like, even, his, like, even with the 8 days of waters breaking, there was not once that he projected any fear or limitation on me. Like, he trusted me. If I trusted my body and I knew that nothing was going to happen, we were having the baby at home, and like, he was in that with me. And it is, I don't know, I'm very lucky to have him. And yeah but I know there are men out there doing the work. So there are a lot of men doing the work. We see a lot of them at our events. So,
That's
so just
wonderful.
watch out. If you've got any single friends, like, watch when we do an event, and then they follow all the men after that.
Oh my God, if any of the men listen, like if they listen, they're going to be like, oh my God, do you listen to the Skin I Mean podcast? Is that why you're here? Do you actually do it in different cities? Because one of the other things that I was going to ask you is that, have you ever considered doing it for teenage girls? Or even boys? I think it's important for boys to know about what periods are.
Actually, I have been asked this question so much about the teenage girls, and I was like, because I have a self-paced program, and I'm like, yes, it did unpack a lot of the things that you would go through in teenage life, and would that apply to them, or do I need to will it be beneficial to create another self-paced program that's specifically for before that? And I'm still tuning into that, really, because I have had a lot of people ask, not only about the women, like the young women, it's also about the men as well. Like, how can they learn their woman better, right? Because that's what it is. It's learning the woman better. And so yeah, I'm yet to unpack that, but nice threads. I like
I was
this.
like, well, because I was getting, when you were talking about it, the download I was getting is, had I had a place to go where other girls like me were also there, that I can see them, that I can talk to them, where I can see them exercising the courage to put their hand up and ask a question that was within me, but I didn't have the courage to do that. If I was at some kind of an event like that, that would have made such a difference for me. And I think that, I do know that there is a woman, I had an osteopath on, that she does work in her local community with an Indigenous school, and teaches the girls about their period. So I know that there's people doing that work, but I think that to have that in person, like a live event where like young girls can find each other and learn
Mhm.
from each other and see others exercise the courage to be able to have that, like that. I was literally sitting there going, I wonder if she'd do a live event for teenagers. I feel like this is necessary. I'm like, I'm going to have to weave this in somehow.
Okay.
I was like, so take the
Okay.
download or don't. But I feel like it would be massive.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wish you knew sooner, Jacquie?
My epigenetic expression. Now that I feel like that should be part of education, but that's another tangent, is like where I would see their education system going is actually educating based on what biology needs, right? So there's, some kids that learn better active, and there's some kids that can sit all day, and that it's just actually being able to educate based on that, and like actually understanding that there's differences in so many people, and how their learning style is completely based on their biology and how their brain works differently to other people. So I don't see, I can't see how I could send my children to like a normal school, because I'm just like it's not tailored enough. It doesn't, it's catered to like one or two expressions, like the health types that we were talking about before. It's like catered to that. The people that pardon me, the people that can sit all day, the people that can like, and it's indoctrinating them into like, this is what you do for 9 to 5 for 65 years, and like this is what you do, this is the steps. So yeah, definitely, like I definitely see a future where there are alternative educations that are completely based around epigenetics. And I know that there's some that exist, but it's not wide enough yet. There are some in South Australia, I believe. But yeah.
Yeah, but I get like super homeschool vibes from you anyway.
Oh,
I know you
I
probably
need
don't have the
I need
time,
to outsource that.
but I'm like, how have you just not? I'm like, I accept that as your life. Like, and so you're gonna have to work that out because
Well,
goodness, woman, you're gonna
well,
raise some babies.
they only need like an hour a day of actual learning, so it wouldn't be hard, but also I would like some space.
I mean, there's
there's lots of like
not 10 of you.
there's lots of homeschool co-ops these days, like where you can put them in for a day, and like that's probably what I do, is like I can't subject them to a Monday to Friday thing anyway, because I don't subject myself to a Monday Friday thing.
I love that. I love that. When I think of our previous conversation and this conversation, and, a lot of the things that you'd spoken about where it really is inspiring that someone's doing this work for women. And I love that men are included in that for you, because for me, I had no respect for the masculine growing up the way that I did, and didn't realize how important it is to balance the feminine, how important it is to teach the feminine, how important it is to create a space for the feminine to even exist or thrive. I didn't realize the two are like yin and yang. One cannot exist without the other. And so for me, it was like a massive explosion in my brain last year. And I'm like, I feel like an idiot that I didn't realize that. And even as someone who's super anti-feminist movement, I'm like, how did I not know that? How did I not get to this knowing sooner that the masculine is just as important in the life of the feminine as the feminine is to the masculine? Like, what? My journey to womanhood has been very interesting. And when I think of the path, and, when I even decided to create this podcast, and that the greatest question for me was, what do I even love about the person that I am today? What do I love about being a woman? What can I love about being a woman? And so I'd love to know, what do you love about the woman that you are today? And what do you just love about being a woman?
Oh, the infinite possibility of creation. that's what I love about being a woman, is that there's so much that can happen inside of the unknown. And we don't actually need to do more. It's how can we be and receive more and actually just be a conduit of what wants to come through us, no matter what we're doing, no matter what we're creating. So that's what I love about being a woman, is like that mystery, the mystery. But it's something that we learn, right? It, like, especially in this day and age, and I'd love that to be more embodied, but the way that it is like we choose to learn these things. We choose to embody this mystery, and this ability to create infinitely. Yeah, that's what I love.
And exactly what I needed to hear today, given my life circumstance. And I'm like, I don't need to know the outcome. I don't need to know the outcome. I don't need to know the outcome. But oh, seriously, we could talk for hours. I feel like there are so many tangents that we did not go on that are gonna have to be necessary in a future episode. So Jacquie, such a pleasure to chat. Please let the listeners know where they can find you and how they can work with you once you're, off your maternity leave, hopefully.
Well, I'm still so the main way that I can communicate with people is Instagram, and my Instagram link will be in the show notes. But it's just at Jacquie Mync is my handle. And what was the other bit? How can they find you?
And how can they work with you? Is it just I'm assuming you've got a link and stuff that they can
Yeah,
fill out?
so on my Instagram, there's a link that has like a lot of free resources, a lot of free things, but you can also book in a discovery call. You can book a chat where you can just ask me anything about the different modalities that I like. The way I work is quite intuitive as well, so I'm sure you're just the same as well. So it's like me drawing on what's needed in that moment. And I very much work like that, and that's why I love being a woman, right? It's like this infinite creation. Like you don't need to force anything. It's just like what wants to come through in that work. So, but if you're curious on any of the things that we've talked about today, the womb healing, the menstrual cycle, embodiment, fertility, conscious conception, any of those pieces that I can be of assistance to you, that's all. We can just have a chat on a discovery call, and that link is in my bio.
I don't know why, but I feel like there's a book in your future, lady.
Thanks.
Putting that in the space. So if anyone is interested in working with Jacquie, I will include in the episode description and across socials links and ways you can do that. So if you haven't already, head on over to Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and Apple Podcasts to follow the Skin I'm In podcast and be the first to know when new episodes drop. Jacquie, this has been magic. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been expansive also for me. Yeah, such an incredible opportunity to riff on all the different things.
And riff we did.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. See you guys. Oh man, this conversation stirred something deep within me, truths I couldn't quite name but could feel in every cell of my body. My intuition was on high alert the entire time, and the downloads were non stop. Vivid visions of past, present, and even future scenarios came flooding through as Jacquie and I spoke. I felt plugged into something bigger, like a current of source energy that moved through the both of us. And I was profoundly honored to be in that space with Jacquie. This is a woman who has walked through her own fire, barefoot, eyes open, and now stands strong in guiding others through their own fire and leading them to their rightful path. What moved me most is how she holds space for complexity. She doesn't see healing as a one-way street, especially for women navigating IVF. There's no shame, no rigidity, just deep understanding and reverence for their path, and she stands strong in her support of that. And let's talk about that epigenetics piece, because my mind is absolutely blown. The idea that we can trace how our gene expression shapes the very skin we live in, that is next level awareness. Our body is so incredible, seriously. I never realized I needed another rabbit hole to go down, and this is a rabbit hole that I very much am looking forward to falling into. I am going to research the crap out of this epigenetics piece. I cannot believe it. I'm still reeling from that part of the conversation. And the divine really knows what it's doing when it brings certain conversations, people, places, situations into our lives. And letting ourselves be guided by source isn't some abstract spiritual platitude, it is alignment. It's surrendering to the rhythm of life, just like Mother Earth does. She nourishes, she destroys, she sheds, she blooms again and again. And we as women embody that same cycle. Today, I got what I needed in terms of messages from the divine. A clear reminder that this season that I'm in, with its clearing and revealing, is so sacred, that I'm being guided to surrender right now. And my perspective on that has shifted from having the need to control and manage the outcome, I've realized is just a mechanism I created to protect my heart from breaking. And I realize now just how much wisdom is actually in surrender. That trusting what's being taken from my life is just as important as celebrating what's coming in and creating a space for it to arrive. Every twist and turn in our lives is happening for us, not to us. And in every moment, we get to choose. Are we doing this for ourselves? Are we choosing ourselves? Or are we letting life choose for us? So now I turn it to you. What parts of your life are calling for surrender? And are you willing to let go so that something greater can unfold? Let me know in the comments. With gratitude and grace, have a wonderful day.